Welcome to my website, War and Disillusionment. World War I lasted from 1914 to 1918, and it was a war that shaped the trajectory of the 20th century. During the 4 years of war, soldiers and civilians witnessed unprecedented mass slaughter on a scale never believed to be possible short of a biblical apocalypse. However, war wasn't initially viewed to be so grim. In the summer of 1914, countries across Europe were rattling their sabers in an attempt to get attention and respect. Complex alliances were strengthened, armies prepared for engagement. Even before the Schlieffen Plan kicked off on the 7th of August 1914, British, French, and German men were really begging to go to war because for them, war meant adventure and excitement. As soon as war declared, men were preparing for war. They were signing up at recruitment offices. They were kissing their sweethearts goodbye, promising that they would be home by Christmas. Because after all, how could they lose? And to top that off, the propaganda machine was working at a really fast clip. Participation in the war was viewed as noble and honorable and sexy. And newspapers and magazines and songs added to the notion that this war was going to be fun. However, reality set in quite quickly, and the reality was that it was going to be a battle of attrition, fighting until the last man stands, or actually falls. War was bloody, war was muddy, war was cold. There were machine guns, trenches, airplanes, mustard gas, influenza, and worst of all, rats. But so when the disillusionment settled in quite quickly, because really who could stay optimistic against those odds and in that type of environment? For my project and website, I would like to see if I could trace the descent of our soldiers into disillusionment by tracing the poems of 6 soldier poets: Rupert Brooke, Alan Seeger, John McCrae, Wilfred Owen, Siegfried Sassoon, and Robert Graves. Of those 6 soldier poets, only Sassoon and Graves actually survived the war and made it out alive. For my project, I want to examine the poets' works based on in the order based on the publication of their first poem and related to their service on the battlefield. And I would also like to examine the later work of the 2 surviving poets and the poems that they wrote later on in their lives that were affected by their disillusionment in war. For this project, I would like to examine vocabulary. What words do the poets use and how do they use them? I'd like to also examine word links, themes, and symbolism as evidenced by the data that I am able to collect. This project will be quite interesting for me to conduct because so much of poetry's meaning is derived from close reading, and the notion of applying Jocker's concept of distant reading, especially to poetry, is quite new to me. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure what ultimately I am going to discover. I would like to be able to discover, however, if I can find evidence of disillusionment within individual poets as they have published, as they wrote through their experiences, and as well as trace the increasing war fatigue as the war lasted far longer than the first Christmas and stretched out over many years and slaughtering the youth of Europe in the process. So I really would like to examine the data for a variety of these related concepts. And I'm not exactly sure yet what I'm going to discover. I am still working on that, and I'm really quite excited, and I would like to see where it goes. Thank you.